that type of big.
Yeah.
But Jan Blachowicz, on the other hand, is a really big guy, and he was able to control Israel, take him down, and really the ground game was where he scored probably the most points and had the most dominance in that fight with Adesanya. So like a lot of people look at that performance and say, well, if Jan can do it, maybe this is the way that someone can beat him.
I don't think Whitaker is obviously not as big and as strong, but what he could maybe do is, I think, at least if he can land a takedown or two, and at least be able to mix up the threat of a takedown with his very good striking. He's probably not as good as, Israel Adesanya's striking, but still very good. I mean, you don't want to get hit by that dude. Maybe that's his way to have a shot. I wouldn't bet on Whitaker in this fight, but I do. I'm interested to see it. Yeah.
It's very interesting because Whitaker is so smart and he's really young still. I think Whitaker just turned 30. Let's see, how old is Whitaker? I feel like he's 30. I feel like he's a couple years younger.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
31. Okay. So he's just turned 31, and Israel's 32 or 33? So this is 32. So the most interesting fight right now is that fight. But that's only because Alex Pereira doesn't have a lot of UFC fights.
There's still a lot of questions about whether he'll be able to, deal with, wrestling. If he can go through the ranks and get enough wins where now he justifies a title shot. But if he does, that would set up the biggest middleweight fight ever.
That could be set up after this fight. If Pereira gets one big victory, I mean, think about Yuri Prohaska, right? Yuri's going to fight for the light heavyweight title. Yuri starches Volkan Ozdemir, and then he starches Dominic Reyes, and they're like, get him in there, title fight.
That's enough.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing with Pereira. I mean, Pereira, the first guy he beat was, not...
Cascade has completely changed the way we look at strategy on a day-to-day basis.
It was becoming a mess having our entire strategy execution process across too many tools.
We used a lot of old school tools, and it was a real pain to get even one team aligned.
We definitely wanted to see results.
All right, gotcha. With Cascade, it's like a conversation. The goals are clear, how best to achieve them, you name it.
Cascade is really exciting, Makes me really enjoy work. No joke. Before Cascade, I couldn't see how my role fit into the company's goals. There was just no context. We've adapted to change faster. With Cascade, it just feels like I own a little piece of the strategy, and that's really cool.
I used to spend a whole day building reports. Now I've got 5 hours back a week, at least. So I've got more time during the day, and I can work out at lunch too. Can we cut that out? Seriously though, just jump in and try Cascade for free. You won't regret it.
How my role fit into the company's goals, there was just no context.
An elite fighter or a top contender, a very good fighter, but he knocked that guy out with that flying knee.
But he did, am I kidding? I think he got taken down in the first round, right? So I think he got taken down and held down for a little while. Then they reset in round 2, knocks him out.
Yeah.
So it still leaves you with this question in your mind of obviously we know the guy's striking is insane. His knockout power is insane. But if a guy at this level already, took you down and held you down, what if Derek Brunson fights you and that guy gets you down?
Exactly.
I mean, so
maybe that would be a good fight because isn't Brunson fighting Cannonier right now?
Brunson's fighting Cannonier.
That's a big fight too. So whoever wins that fight, if Brunson wins that fight, which is big because Brunson is a very good wrestler, then you see Brunson's versus Pereira. That actually, if Brunson would sign up for that, that makes sense.
Or
doesn't make sense
if you don't want to do that,
because Brunson's so high.
He probably wants a title shot, or he wants to fight Sean Strickland, and then winner gets a title fight or something like that.
Right.
But maybe they're not going to do it that way, and they'd rather build this story and put him in there with someone more likely to strike with him.
Sean Strickland.
I mean, Sean Strickland might grapple with him though. I mean, Sean Strickland's boxing is excellent. But I don't know if you're Sean Strickland and you're fighting that fight. If you were in Sean Strickland's corner, wouldn't you be like, maybe try to take this guy down?
Strickland's an unusual character because Strickland stands so straight up. He stands completely straight up, but guys can't take him down.
His boxing's very good. That jab is incredible.
His distance, his ability to understand distance is so good. And they attribute that to all the rounds that he spars. He apparently spars a lot. He just gets to the gym and he goes to war with everybody. He just does a shitload of rounds. And because of all that sparring, he